You're listening to the Higher Attitudes Podcast. Inspiration to lift your soul.
Hello, this is Tom. I'm here today to talk about fasting. You know, there is an important relationship between the practice of fasting and spirituality. What is it, though, exactly about fasting that causes us to be more open to the influences of heaven? Now, before I share some ideas about how to bring fasting to bear on spiritual matters in our lives, let's review for just a moment how and why people fast. Typically, fasting is going without food or drink for a period of time, say perhaps 24 hours or even more. Some people even go without water for short periods. Some really struggle with fasting this way. Many people are on medications today that instruct them not to fast, or more specifically, to take with food. Others suffer from headaches or other physical symptoms that go beyond the mild discomfort of a rumbly tummy or some weakness. What are people to do if they want to fast, if they want these spiritual benefits, but do not feel like they can fast? First, let's talk about why people fast to discover some of the benefits that fasting promises. Then we'll talk about some additional forms of fasting that we can experiment with and perhaps make a regular part of our spiritual practice. In Isaiah 58, we read that fasting is good for our health. We're also promised clarity and happiness. We are promised protection. We are promised that the Lord will hear our cries and respond to us, and that He will satisfy our needs. All very powerful promises. In the 35th and 69th Psalms, we learn that we can use fasting as a way of humbling ourselves before God. In the 9th chapter of the book of Daniel, the prophet mentions adding fasting to prayer and supplication as he sought blessings from the Lord. In Mosiah 27, the king and his priests fasted and prayed to ask a special blessing for the rebellious soul of the high priest's son Alma. In Luke 2, we read of Anna, the prophetess, who served continuously in the temple, fasting and praying night and day. She was rewarded in part by witnessing the newborn Lord and the fulfillment of long-awaited prophecy. In Matthew 17, Jesus' disciples asked the Master why they were not able to cast out a devil that Jesus himself cast out with a single command. The Lord's answer was that they failed because of unbelief. Apparently, not only does fasting bring power, it also affects our ability to believe. In Acts 13, we read that the disciples fasted and prayed as a way of knowing who to call to be part of the 12. Fasting, therefore, helps us in seeking to know divine will. In 1 Corinthians 7 and in 3 Nephi 27, we read that fasting and prayer helps give God's followers unity of purpose. And in Corinthians, it adds that fasting also protects us from Satan's temptations, especially when he picks at the areas of our lives where we lack full self-control. In Alma 5, the prophet teaches us that the sustained practice of regular fasting and prayer can be used to gain knowledge from heaven. Again, in Isaiah 58 and in Alma 6, we see that the key purpose of fasting is to help those in need. In Isaiah, we see that the poor and needy benefit from our fasting as we have opportunity to clothe the naked and feed the hungry. In Alma, we read of the believers gathering together to fast and pray for the welfare of the souls that know not God. Again, in Alma 10, we read of the prophet Alma himself having fasted many days on behalf of the wicked inhabitants of a city that he had been commanded to preach to. So, those seeking to bless others, by teaching them of God's plan for them, often use fasting to prepare themselves for the work they are undertaking. In Alma 17, we read that the sons of Mosiah prayed and fasted much to gain favor of the Lord, that they might have the gifts of prophecy and of revelation, and that they might teach with power and authority. In the book of Omni, we read that believers used fasting and prayer to help them stay on the straight and narrow path, that they might endure to the end. We read in Alma 28 and in Helaman 9 that fasting is practiced during times of sorrow and mourning. And in Alma 45, we see that fasting is also used in times of thankfulness and celebration. In the 59th section of the Doctrine and Covenants, the Lord equates fasting with joy. Finally, in Helaman chapter 3, we read that those who fasted and prayed often waxed stronger, or in other words, grew slowly but steadily stronger, in humility, and firmer in the faith of Jesus Christ. This fasting and prayer led the people to joy, consolation, purity, and sanctification, and ultimately to their being able to yield their hearts to God. Now that is a lot of reasons to make fasting and prayer a regular part of our spiritual practice. Did you know that the word fast also means firm? Now I find that interesting. The root of the words both come from Old English, both for the word fasting, meaning to abstain from food, and also the word fast, meaning to hold fast, to be firm. I find it interesting that there is a connection there. I believe that the practice of fasting is designed to help make us firm in our faith for God. That is why it is so critical that we be able to fast. So now let's talk about ways of fasting beyond the traditional 24-hour food and drink fast. I want to talk about this because many good people that I've met have given up on the idea of regular fasting because of medical reasons or other personal difficulties. They feel like it is out of reach, and therefore they give up on the blessings that come through fasting. I want you to know that God will work with us to help us find a form of fasting that works for us. He knows that fasting is a powerful way to draw closer to Him. He will not deny us the blessings of fasting just because we struggle with a certain form of the practice. If we can't participate in a food and drink fast because we are on medications that require us to eat, we can talk to our doctors and explain how important fasting is to us. Often our doctors can find a way to help us take care of our health and allow us to fast. If your doctor isn't open to your need for fasting, make it a matter of prayer and ask the Lord to guide you in reaching for the right solution. He will show you the way. Of that I am confident. Now, let's say we need to eat something with a medication and we cannot find a way around this, even for a short period of time. Why can't we change our eating to reflect our desire to fast? Why not try eating only a minimal amount of food to fulfill the medication's requirements instead of eating an entire meal? Maybe half a slice of bread is enough to take that pill in the morning, or a small piece of fruit. Each situation is different, and of course, you need to seek the counsel of your trusted medical personnel and even spiritual counselors as you move forward in this. But don't give up. If you get headaches, for instance, let's say fast only for 12 hours instead of 24, and see if that allows you to gain some of the blessings of the fast. Or eat a piece of bread and drink a little water to avoid the headache, but still maintain a sense of sacrificing something of physical comfort and indulgence to show the Lord that you are humbling yourself as you seek His blessings. If you decide you cannot fast with food, why not try something different? How about electronics? Can you go 24 hours without your phone, your tablet, or your TV and computer? Maybe fast a week instead of just 24 hours from a particular entertainment. So, even if you can't practice a more traditional fast, you can try an electronics fast, or a football fast, or an HGTV fast, or whatever you spend a significant amount of time on, and then dedicate that time to other spiritual pursuits and service. Many people participate in juice fasts or water fasts, where juice or water are the only thing they partake of for a period of time. Most do this for health reasons, but it also has spiritual benefits. You can fast from fast food or sugar, or anything that you feel you need less of in your life. It helps to break the chains that bind us down. We can dedicate our fasting to the Lord, and when we do this, we gain strength and commitment. Dare I say, belief. In a very real sense, every Sabbath day is a form of fasting. We refrain from the things of the world so that the spiritual things can have a chance to take root in our lives more firmly. Again, there's that word firm. If we honor the Sabbath regularly, the benefits of joy, consolation, and sanctification talked about in Helaman 3 become our rewards. Fasting is meant to be joyful. It has never been intended to punish us or make us suffer. Humble us perhaps, but not punish us. I hope you'll consider your own habits of fasting and prayer, and I hope you'll find joy as you look for ways to participate more fully in the practice of fasting, or as you look for alternative ways to fast if you haven't been able to do that for a while. May God bless you as you grow closer to Him through this practice of fasting and prayer.
Thank you for listening. We'd love to have you join us on Facebook at facebook.com/higher-attitudes. Do you have an uplifting thought to share? Why not join our Facebook discussion group? Visit the group at facebook.com/groups/higher-attitudes to request membership. If you'd like to leave a question about a challenge you're facing, or if you'd like to share a thought about how you've overcome negativity, call 719-301-0303 and record your question or comment. Please note that carrier rates may apply. Again, call 719-301-0303 to leave a question or comment. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we look forward to you joining us for the next episode of the Higher Attitudes Podcast. Please remember that the advice offered in this show is intended for informational purposes only. Please read our full disclaimer in the show notes.